Hey y'all, it's Kathy Poe, and I'm excited today to share my fourth Stamping 101 video. This time it's the big shot. This is something that people have, they're like, oh my gosh, it looks like there's so much, I don't ever want to do it. But believe me, it is the tool to have in your studio. I love my big shot, and it's made by Sizzix. And they've been making die cutting machines forever. And Stampin' Up! Sells this particular one. It is in our catalog on page 209, right here. The Big Shot cutting machine. It comes with, let's see, standard cutting pads and the Big Shot platform, which the cutting pads are the same, but the platform has changed a bit since I got mine, and there's no point in me getting another one. But these are the cutting pads, and I also call them shims. And this is the multi-purpose platform. Now the cool thing about this is every page will tell you exactly what this shim will do. All right. If you've ever been confused before, there's no point in being confused anymore because it will tell you. This will do wafer thin dies and framelits. We'll talk about the framelits in just a minute. The wafer thin die is it's kind of out now. Not many people use those anymore. When you lift this up, that was tab number 2. Tab number 1 says that we can do letterpress plates, we can do textures, we can do the clearlets, embosslets, and sizzlets. You probably see these at yard sales now. If you do, grab them. I mean, if Sizzix still makes them, I don't know, but Stampin' Up! Doesn't carry them anymore because we've got so much more technology in this now. We don't really use these small things. Also, the textured impressions embossing folders. We do use those. And when you lift up tab 1, there's excuse me, embossing folders here and the textures here. So I will show you how I am using mine today. All right, we're going to start with something called a framelit. And they come like this. They come in a little envelope like this. It's a nice, it's a thinlet. It's a nice little slick plastic envelope that you can store them just like this. Just stand them up in a bin of some sort, and you'll always see the name. I happen to transfer mine over into a plastic case because you can buy these cases from Stampin' Up! And I usually just keep mine in these cases with magnets there, and I put the name of them there, and it's just easier for me to have them in my cabinet like that. I just haven't moved these into a box yet. So the actual thinlets are called Celebrate You. They are free in celebration for 2018 and until March 31st or while supplies last. If you order $100 worth of Stampin' Up! Before taxes and shipping, you can choose this set. And this is the framelits here. They say Celebrate Amazing You. And what I want to show you today is the word you. This is about 1/16 of an inch thick because I used adhesive, the Sizzix adhesive sheet like this. And what I did, I just cut out as much as I needed. I put my designer series paper on the sticky part. I peeled it where it says peel here. There's a little piece of paper there that comes off, and this is sticky. And I put my designer series paper on it. Then I put my die down on top of that, and I ran it through the Big Shot machine, and it came out like this. Okay, so this actually has adhesive paper on the back. I peeled it back so you can see. That is sticky. Okay, now I did that with all of these because this was a piece of kind of like scrap cardstock that I had. And what I'm going to do here is peel this off, and I'm going to stick this together, which I hope I get it right because I like to be over it, and I'm kind of off to the end of it here. Yeah, that's pretty good. And now the word you can be popped up on my card. Isn't that cute? It's big and chunky, and it's an actual embellishment now. And mine's not perfect because, like I said, I just wasn't over it. But anyway, you get the idea. You can just stack them, and then I can come back with a clear glaze and go over it. Excuse me, and it'll look like a big plastic embellishment. So that is how that particular set works, and if you want it to. Otherwise, you can just do one thin. This is just one thin one. I had a little bit of paper left, and I'm just going to keep it in here so I can use it later. Okay, so I'm going to show you how the Big Shot works with a different set. This is called A Little Wild, and it is one of the cutest little sets I think I've seen in a while. And I'm going to stamp it first and then cut it out. Now this is just scrap paper that had a little ink or something on it. Excuse me. And my dogs are about to start barking because people are starting to come in the house. But the door to my studio is closed, so hopefully it won't be too loud. See, I've already done one elephant. So stinking cute. I colored him with alcohol markers. Okay, and I wrote on here off center simply because when I put my sticker on it, when I got my stamps, I just didn't feel like it was exactly correct. So if I were trying to fit this into something, I would like to know that it's not just perfect. Okay, so we're going to do the little bear, and he's got a little bee on his bare bottom. His bare bottom. Okay, how cute is he? Oh my goodness, isn't that adorable? And see, I've got some blah right there, but we're not going to worry about that. Does not matter one bit. Going to clean my stamp. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a tag or whatever you would like this little bear to be. He's really supposed to be a tag, but I will show you something cute about him. And this set is called A Little Wild. It is a current set in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and it is item number 144344. Okay, so we're going to use a framelit for him, and this is called Little Love's Framelit Dies. And I'm going to get the one that looks like him, which is here. And I am actually, okay, when you get these, they are really stuck down by this tape. And I pull the tape away from the metal. I don't pull the metal away from the tape until I've got a lesser hold on it, because I don't want to bend that, especially in this critical area here. I mean, it's thin metal and it will bend, so you need to keep that in mind. Okay, so what happens when you have a beautiful new shim, a cutting pad, and it comes out looking like this? Well, that's what it's supposed to do. My best friend and I, we got our Big Shots at the same time. And we were calling each other saying, oh my goodness, I've ruined it. And because it started out looking really nice and it ended up like this. But that's what it's supposed to do, so don't be nervous. We just have to get over the fact that we love everything perfect. Now there's two things you could do here. Well, three. You could put it just like this and leave it. It should be fine. Or you can purchase the magnetic platform. Now the magnetic platform has a series of magnets running across and up and down. They're not just everywhere. So they're in specific places, so that if you want to, well, I thought mine was right here, but if you want your little bitty pieces to be a certain way, you kind of have to just play with those magnets, because the magnets will yank them over if you don't have them right on it. The other way to do this is using a post-it note or a sticky note. This is just sticky right here. And the third way is to leave it as it is. It'll probably be fine. That is, one this size would probably do just fine. If it was teeny tiny, I would put something on it to hold it down. Okay, so we are using, the platforms are closed. Tab 2 is on the top. It's just completely closed. I'm putting down the cutting pad here. And then I'm putting down the other cutting pad on top. And I'm making sure that my sides right here will go through without it kind of shaving the sides off. And I'm pushing with my right hand, I'm pushing it into the Big Shot while I'm cranking it at the same time. I don't know if you can see the crank, but it's right here. And now that it's starting to self-feed, I'm just going to hold on to the top. Now listen. That little crack, that's totally normal. So when it comes out the other side, we have the cutest little bears. Isn't that adorable? Yes, you could cut these out by hand, but why? Right? Okay, so that is how you would cut one of these framelits. Okay, so now I'm going to, right away, I'm going to put this back. And you want to be in a good habit of that, because these little guys can get lost on your crafting table, believe me. Some people, even when they're crafting a lot, they'll just have a magnetic easel, you know, an easel with a piece of a big strong magnet on it. And they just kind of fling them up there and then put them away after they're done. That has not worked for me yet, so I just continue to put them away as I use them. Now, what you can do with this guy, this is not about the Sizzix machine. This is not about Big Shot. This is just to give you an idea. You can fold him in half, like this. And here's his little loop, so you can put a little string through him. And he's a sweet, just the sweetest little note ever. You can also cut him apart. I'm not going to ask you to sit there and watch me cut the whole thing, but you'll get the idea. You cut him apart, and I would do a better job than this if I was not on video. There we go. And what you do is maybe put this on the front of the card. And when you open the card, you see this side of him. Isn't that cute? That would be just adorable. So you'd have a front and back to your card. Okay, so I'm going to even put these in here. And here again is the little elephant I did. And he's alcohol markers, so that's why he bled through like that. This was just on regular Whisper White cardstock, as is this. And there go my dogs. Okay, so let's see what we have next. Okay, same idea, the same configuration with the shims and the cutting plates, and I was able to cut these adorable little bottles, and this is the Bubble and Fizz, I think it's called Bubble and Fizz stamps, and the framelits are called, sorry, I always realize I forgot something when I get to this point. Let's see what it is. Here it is. These are framelits, and they are called Bottles and Bubbles. And even the straws. I mean, how stinking cute is that? So again, you just use the same configuration, and you cut these out. And this little crate is called the Wood Crate Framelit Dies. And you're supposed, if you're going to use it as a crate, you would cut 2 of these. And so I just cut 1, and then I used the edges. I folded those down and put some double-sided tape on them to make it have some dimension. and I cut out 6 of these bottles, which is super easy because the set actually gives you it actually gives you 2 bottles, and you can't really tell it, but some of these bottles are smaller than the other. And it also gives us 3 or 4 of these little lids, so you just keep cranking it out and cranking it out, and you can make a bunch at one time. So that is super cute. And this paper right here is free with a $50 purchase in celebration while supplies last until March 31st. And that is, of course, celebration is if you order $50 worth before taxes and before shipping. Okay, so that is what your framelits can do. Now I want to show you something else, and this is the Textured Impressions Embossing Folders, the TIEF, okay? These will go through this machine as well, and as a matter of fact, here are the things that just off the top of my head you can put through here. Cardboard, chipboard, vellum, fabric, leather, vinyl, those cork sheets that you can just get like in a sheet, shrink plastic. That's so cute. You can stamp a little figure on shrink plastic and run it through if you've got the coordinating framelit or thinlit, and then you've got your whole thing. You just melt it down, and it's a hard little, like a little key thing you can put on your keys. And I don't know if I said felt, but yes, so much we can do with this. Okay, now this one here, this is an embossing folder, and there's 2 different kinds. There is the regular embossing folder, and then there is the dynamic textured impressions embossing folder. The regular one is this thick, and yes, there's something inside I'll show you in a minute. This dynamic one is quite a bit thicker. I don't know, I wouldn't say twice as thick, but it may be. It's very, very strong, very heavy. This one, not so much. It's just a regular embossing folder. Okay, so when we get to our embossing folders, we're going to make a different sandwich. We are going to remove tab 2 and put it through here. And now we've got just this thickness, okay, because we've taken one thickness off. Now we're going to put this cutting sheet here, the cutting plate here. Even though we're not going to cut, it's still a shim. And we would put our cardstock in here, just plain old cardstock. It's actually going to go this way. And we would put our sandwich like this, run it through, and when it comes out, it will be embossed. Now this one I have, I'm going to do a separate class on this. I stamped it. It's a really neat technique that I did not invent, but it puts your focal items behind the trees, and then you use that roller thingy. Anyway, you use brayer. You use a brayer, and there's a certain way to do that. Believe me, I made about 15 of these before I found out exactly how to do it. And you brayer it over, and then you can color in your items. This is another one. Isn't that cute? And of course, this is the color the trees really would be. This particular kind of tree, but hey, it's crafting. You can make them any color you want. I put the hammock behind it and the trees behind it, as if you're peering through the woods and you see this. So that is the regular embossing folder. Okay, so now we will look at the Mac Daddy embossing folder, or as this is known, it is the dynamic embossing folder. And we are going to remove tab 1. I'm going to put our cutting plate down and get a piece of cardstock. Now watch me mess this up. Okay, when you get ready to use your embossing folders, you do want to kind of figure out, do I want, excuse me, a landscape or a portrait? So typically we're going to go to the edge here, right there. We're going to close it, set it here, Put this on top. Oh, I don't know if I need to use this or not. Let's see. One of these might be too much. My poor puppy. He's crying because somebody left him in the house and he wants to go outside. All right, I'm removing that bottom one. I always have to refigure this when I do it because this is a newer type of folder. Yeah, so we only need one cutting plate. We only needed the one. So what I have here is one cutting plate, the embossing folder, and the actual cutting pad thing, whatever this is called, the multi-purpose platform. Okay. Don't do as I do. Don't do as I say. Do no. I don't know what it means. Don't do as I do. Do as I say. Do is that? I think that's what Mama used to say. So this, you see how deep this is, and yeah, it's very lumpy, bumpy. It's great. This is a great effect on your cards, on your little gift boxes, things that you make. And especially, I used to have a knitting group, and man, these girls would love to have received a card like this if such a thing was on the market back then. So, okay, we have talked about the different types of things you can run through here as far as the tools are concerned, which are the framelits, the thinlits, the embossing, y'all help me here. Embossing folder and the dynamic embossing folders. Now, where would you find all of these things? Well, you start on page 209 in the catalog, and this is the 2017-2018 main catalog for Stampin' Up. It is the annual catalog, and it will end on May 31st, 2018. Okay, and here we have the replacement standard cutting pads. That's those plastic ones that like this, and they come looking wonderful, and it breaks your heart to tear them up. The precision base plate, you don't need it, but it's good to have. I've got one. I just use it when I'm doing a whole lot of work. The magnetic platform, honestly, I would not encourage anybody to buy the magnetic platform if you've got a Post-it note. I mean, I love Stampin' Up. I love what I do, but I also love my customers, and I will tell you, you don't need it. The Big Shot platform. This is the new one that comes with it. Yeah, this one says this is a replacement in case you go crazy and it tears up or something, which I've had this one, oh gosh, probably easily 8 to 10 years. And then the die brush, that is something else. Now, I would recommend that you have one of those. And what that does, it comes with a little foam pad, which of course I can't put my hand on right now, but it's a little foam pad. And these thinlits, sometimes they have a lot of detail in them. And when they do, you just need to be able to run this over the metal and push those little pieces of paper out. This works so well, and it makes just a good 5 to 10 minutes worth of work over in seconds. So I recommend that you do get this. It's called the Big Shot die brush. It comes with this little pad here. It comes with two foam pads actually. Okay, so then when you get into this area here, you will see there are the Textured Impressions embossing folders, and each catalog that we have typically introduces a new one. And the celebration catalog, the little celebration flyer that we have, they've added a product to it, and it's actually a basket weave embossing folder, and it's really pretty. So this is polka dots and stars and a garden trellis, holly, petal burst, sparkle, sweetheart, this is new, fluttering with all the butterflies, seaside, which could be used a lot of different ways, and a brick wall. And then this says softly falling, and it really just looks like snow. It's kind of heavy up here, and then it gets lighter. Woodland is the one that I showed you. And then just for words, here's happy and celebrate. And then the dynamic folders, we have layered leaves, hexagons, ruffled, pinewood planks, and the cable knit. All right, so those are all the embossing folders. Okay, and then over here, man, do we have a lot. Framelits and thinlits. Here's the wood crate that I was showing you. I just used the front of for that card. I just used one of these. I would have to demonstrate this. If you're interested, send me a private message or comment down here, and I'll share with you how to use that. These will make 3D projects. This popcorn box, the wood crate, the mini treat bags, and the home sweet home. I love those. I love anything 3D. Okay, and then we have all of these different framelits and thinlits, and look at the everyday jars. Isn't that cute? So cute. I've marked the ones that I have, and I see I need to mark a couple more. And then we have shapes such as the squares and the labels and the hearts and the ovals, and they have started doing stitched shapes, which I love. It is so cute. It's just little stitches all the way around everything, and it makes your project look, I don't know, it just gives it so much personality. These are the little loves framelits that we just did. Then you have words here that, again, you can cut these out, and you could take just the word. You can clip it out of the heart and stack it like this. Now, I mean, that's a bit of a waste because you're going to waste all those shapes there, but do those too, you know. But I love this effect, and you'll see it on the card later, I hope, if I remember to feature it, and you'll see what a great technique that is. These are the dies that you would really need that roller for. It is called, see y'all, I forget that quickly. It is called the Big Shot Die Brush. You see how detailed these are? Well, it would take a while to punch all the little pieces of paper out of these, but you take that die brush and just zoom, 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 and your paper's just going to fall away from it. It's great. And we also have the numbers and the letters, and these are great too because you can use them for all kinds of occasions. Then over here we have thinlits, which again, you would use that brush to get all the little pieces of paper out of these. They're more detailed than the framelits. The framelits tend to have like a open area that just cuts out, you know, the big part of it. But the thinlits have a lot more detail, and trust me, you're going to want that brush. Okay, so that is the whole story as I know it on the Big Shot. One more thing you might consider, no electricity. You can carry it wherever you want to. It does weigh quite a bit, but that's because it's got this heavy thing in here that presses and squishes and does all that kind of stuff. We actually have a demonstrator that I believe she's Amish. She may be Mennonite, but I'm pretty sure she's Amish. And they go crazy over this because it's a small tool, does not require any electricity, and it has a big effect on your crafting. So my store is kathybo.stampinup.net, and my Facebook page is Kathy Bohannon Creatively Blessed. I'm going to be listing those below, and please do stop in and please support my business. I'm trying very, very hard to get my Stampin' Up! Really going, and I will have a whole lot to offer. If you'd like to join my team, I have a lot of coaching. I've got years of experience, and I'm excited about Stampin' Up! Because I love it. So thank you guys for visiting and stopping by. Toodles!